Mary Helen Dara, Taylor Automotive Family, Women in the Driver's Seat. Today we are speaking with Wendy Pestrue of the United Way of Greater Toledo. I cannot wait to speak to this dynamic leader in our community. Wendy, thank you so much for being here. Could you please tell us a bit about your history and the deciding factor of getting behind the wheel here at the United Way of Greater Toledo?
So early on in my career, I always called it the frontline experience part of my life. I was a nurse at the Texas Heart Institute in Houston and worked in transplant services. And that was very interesting because you really learned a lot about health inequities. And I think it ultimately became part of why I donated a kidney to a friend years later, because I learned a lot about how hard it is to get those organs and what it's like for those families. So it was a real pleasure later to have that honor and opportunity to help a friend that way. Through that, I realized people don't know a lot about their bodies or their health, so I thought, well, I'll be a health educator. And so I went and got a master's in education and spent some time in the classroom, and then ultimately went to law school, and I had a focus in healthcare and really the healthcare equity issues that I think drive a lot of disparities we see. So over the years, spent some time in politics, policy, got into fundraising, because you see where a lot of change can happen if you're a good fundraiser. Worked a great deal in academic medical centers, and then right before coming here, I was in Virginia and overseeing the social determinants of health for the Bon Secours system in Virginia throughout all the hospitals there. So it's a little like your whole life sets you up for this opportunity, and when the United Way opening was discussed, I had some friends say, you really should apply for this. You can take a lifetime of experiences and really try to help our community. And I have loved every minute of it, and it's true. Well, my mother always said, you lack focus, because I kept moving around to different things, and then it's like, well, fortunately it landed in a place where all of that becomes something to focus on, and I have loved being a part of this community, and hopefully, with a great team, making things a little better for some folks.
Yeah, absolutely. A great life experience. And what does a typical day look like for you? And what are a few of the most challenging as well as rewarding aspects as your role as leader here at United Way?
Well, and United Way, it's interesting because you have to deal with emergent needs, but you also have to stay focused on long-term planning. And I think every day you sort of assess where you are in that sort of continuum. You also have to figure out how you make the wise investments in community, but also how you raise money to make it work. So every day is a little different, and I like that about the job. I get up really, really early. People get emails from me at 5 in the morning. Sorry about that. You don't need to answer until later. It's not a good thing. And then just really listening to the team too, and trying to get from our team members a sense of what's going on. We have great content experts at United Way, and that's the point of having a great team where we all work together and really, I think, strategically assess community needs. But the average day is just a lot about looking at emergent needs, how is this working to our long term, and then what do our partners need? How are we affecting change there?
Wow. It's a busy day, busy life. Would you encourage others to get on board in this line of work? I'm exhausted just listening to all that you do, but
it's weird because I don't have another frame of reference outside of nonprofit or being really focused on trying to maybe improve somebody's life. I know that sounds silly. I had maybe 2 weeks I worked at the Gap. That's the only for-profit experience I've had. So I always say to myself, okay, I think that a nonprofit experience, whether you pursue it professionally or you lean in as a volunteer and serve on a board, whatever that is, this really helps you, I think, understand some authenticity in what folks need. And especially if you're an educated person, please take that privilege that you've had in life and give that back to folks. Really encourage others to get their education, really encourage others to grow and be who they want to be, and figure out what that can look like and where your comfort zones are with that. If you don't pursue it professionally, please, in your spare time, your part-time, or consider it in retirement. We've hired some retirees to work here who work in different industries, and it's personally my favorite thing to see them be enriched and grow in a totally different mindset. So that's always available to you, and I encourage that most of all.
That's great. We know your organization provides so much to our community in so many ways, but what are some of the ways that you are most proud of?
First and foremost, when I came to this organization, we were over 100 years old, and what we were doing was taking dollars in and investing them, and we would measure what that looked like. We have transformed this organization with the Community Analytics Research Center, and we have doctorally prepared people really showing our community how to gather data and use data for more strategic nonprofit investment. Along with that advisement to philanthropic donors, we're using that with government partners, so elected officials work out of that playbook, as well as our corporate partners when they invest. And the thinking here is it's the return on investment, right? We see that in business all the time. We should be doing the same thing in the nonprofit sector. What is the return on investment with these dollars so that we know we are affecting change systemically? So to me, that's the most important prospect that we've brought to this community. And in the future, we're looking forward to kind of a new layer in our strategic planning. It's the first time I've actually talked about it publicly. Between taking this organization and affecting change through a data analytics center and going to a collective impact model, the next thing that we are attempting to do is really unite funders around this. Using the data, using the information, how do we all work together, really communicate with each other through transparency and the lens of equity, and invest so that we are more impactful together as funders. So I think this is going to be a significant change, and really looking forward to what this strategy holds.
Oh, that's very exciting. Well, how can members of the community get involved here at the United Way of Greater Toledo, and what are some ways that we can help?
One of the things I want folks to remember about United Way, it's sort of interesting because we do workplace giving still, and that's where folks that work in different organizations might give a portion of their paycheck. The thing is, we know with strikes or with the way economy can change, some folks, one day they can be a recipient, or they're giving funds, and the next day they might need to, be the recipient of some of these services. So we're very sensitive to that at United Way. If you can give dollars, that's wonderful. Obviously, that helps. But we do have a number of volunteer projects and opportunities to lean in that way. And we're going to have quite a bit in the future, I think. For example, this week we've got a backpack build, and we'll have United for the Holidays coming up. But in the future, we're looking at some navigation programs for students where folks can really help out as volunteers, as mentors, facilitators, navigators, folks who can come to the table with their experience, lived experience, and at any age, and really offer something to our kids. We're seeing out of COVID a lot of kids who are really behind at school. And so we realize a little like it takes a village, what's going to take a team to get these kids back on track and doing well. And so that's in the future for United Way, and really help navigate those services. I think we're going to try some more healthcare facilitation and try to help patients navigate healthier outcomes. And I think all of these are places you can volunteer. And then, like I said, some of our usual suspects. So if you want to give your time, give your dollars, advocate for those families. We have avenues for all of it.
Wendy, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate all that you do for our community.
Well, we can't thank Taylor enough for your support, especially of our Ride United program. Now, I want everyone to remember 211, call, text, or chat. If you need some help with something, there's a myriad of services that our community resource advisors can put you in touch with. But one of the things we see is transportation is the most often unmet need in our community. And thanks to Taylor, we're really trying to spearhead new programming and opportunities with 211 to get folks where they need to be, or to even get groceries to them when it's hard to go to the store. One program in particular, helping pregnant moms get to their doctor's appointments so they have a nice, safe, healthy pregnancy. And we have a terribly high infant mortality rate here. So thanks to Taylor, it's programs like this that will really help these new moms and these babies succeed. So we appreciate you all so much.
Oh, well, thank you. And it's been a pleasure to collaborate with this incredible organization. Wendy, thank you so much for visiting with us today and all you do to lift up our community. Taylor Automotive Family is proud to collaborate with such an incredible organization. Let's head down the road and see who's next in the driver's seat.